Oh, hi. Is this seat taken? I didn't want to disturb you, but there aren't many seats left, and I thought, well, it would be nice to sit with another human. To have some familiarity, considering where we're headed. You know, just in case we get overwhelmed down there. I'm Dr. Alara Dane. I'm an exoanthropologist specializing in reproductive biology and interspecies sociocultural dynamics. I've spent the last decade researching the mating rituals and reproductive cycles of non-human sentient species across several star systems, and this trip to Niris 7 is a rare chance to observe an event with profound socio-biological implications. Oh, sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away with the academic jargon. What I mean is, I study alien creatures, especially how they reproduce and form social bonds, and Niris 7 is a goldmine for that kind of research. This must be your first trip. Mine as well. I was still in university last festival. Are you an academic as well? No. Are you just here out of curiosity, or are you hoping to get a little more involved in the festival? Well, I think your uncertainty is understandable. Just, how familiar are you with the Nirisians? Oh, well, I could give you a quick overview. I enjoy sketching, I hope you don't mind. Well, let's see, they're a matriarchal society, or more accurately, a species without any sexual dimorphism, or even more accurately, Parthenogenesynthetica homogynous. Quite a mouthful, but it really encapsulates what they are. You see, Partheno refers to virgin in Greek, as in parthenogenesis, which is a form of asexual reproduction without fertilization, like whiptail lizards or some of the earth sharks. The gene, gena, obviously refers to genetic material, and synthetica, well, that means they're synthesizing or combining that material in a unique way. So they aren't just reproducing on their own, they're incorporating some DNA from others to create offspring, which is not unusual, but then there's homogynous, which breaks down into homo, meaning same, and gynous, meaning female. Essentially, they're a species made up entirely of women, no males at all. It's a completely female-dominant species that uses genetic material from visitors of various other species to sustain and diversify the population, and it's honestly one of the most fascinating reproductive strategies I've ever studied. You see, they reproduce using genetic material from both male and female visitors, which is, well, it's a little intimidating. The astral coupling is a complete unknown. The Nirisians are incredibly selective about who they let onto the planet, especially for this event. The coupling coincides with a rare astrophysical phenomenon where there's this period of heightened energy resonance, and this resonance is believed to stimulate the Nirisians' reproductive drive, making it the only time that they seek contact with offworlders. And they open up their cities for just 1 week during this time, and outsiders, like you and I, were allowed to visit. It's the only opportunity we have to really study their society and observe their interactions firsthand. You know, not many people get to see this. The Nirisians are incredibly private. Their societies are almost entirely closed off to visitors, and they're very selective about who they let in. You know, some say it's because of their formidable physicality, or the way that they react to outsiders. Well, during the astral coupling, the Nirisians enter this heightened state of reproductive readiness, which is, let's just say they're very eager to find suitable partners. It's a deeply ingrained biological imperative that's triggered by the unique environmental conditions, and sorry, I'm doing it again, aren't I? Now, let me put it this way. When the moons and that star there lineup. It's like the Nyrisians get hit with this wave of attraction, and they become very interested in finding mates. And since there are no males of their species, they look to outsiders like you and I. But it's not just about, physical attraction. It's more complicated than that. The Nyrisians see it as a sacred ritual, a way to connect with their deities. The entire society is built around this single event, and they treat it with a kind of reverence that's difficult to describe. I read a single report of a visitor who was chosen by the Nyrisians, and it was described as the most intense, almost spiritual experience of their lives. All in all, it sounded quite overwhelming. Well, possibly because of their height. You see, they're incredibly tall, between 11 and 15 feet tall, yet their movements are almost fluid, which is impressive given the high gravity down on Nyrus 7. It's clear that their musculature was built for both strength and agility. The forearms are especially interesting. It's likely an evolutionary holdover from their arboreal ancestors, allowing them to maneuver through the dense forest and scale these massive trees with ease, and each arm is fully functional and independent, which means they can perform complex tasks simultaneously. Imagine trying to write and eat and work on a computer all at once. That's just their baseline capability. And the skin, it's thought to be an adaptation to the intense solar radiation on Nyrus 7. There's a slight iridescence that likely reflects harmful UV rays. It also helps them blend in with the lush, colourful vegetation of their world, as it reflects much of the colour back to it. In fact, their whole appearance is designed for survival in an environment that's as beautiful as it is dangerous. And then there's the matter of their eyes. They have these huge, striking eyes with a second clear eyelid that's almost like a built-in pair of goggles. It's probably an adaptation to protect against the frequent dust storms, the intense sunlight on the surface, and, well, they can see incredibly well in both bright light and darkness, which makes them formidable hunters. It's no wonder they're so confident and, well, dominant. There's a lot of debate about whether the forked tongue is a genetic trait or something that they do to themselves. Some researchers believe it's a form of self-mutilation performed during a coming-of-age ceremony, perhaps to signify sexual maturity or readiness for their reproductive role during the astral coupling. If that's true, it would be a cultural practice with deep social significance, similar to how some human cultures use body modification as a rite of passage. But others think the forked tongue could be a genetic adaptation. It might enhance their ability to communicate through taste or allow them to sense pheromones more effectively. If it's genetic, it could be a way for them to taste their environment or potential mates with incredible sensitivity, almost like a snake tasting the air. Either way, the Nyrisians are notoriously private about their customs, so we don't have solid evidence one way or another. Understanding their biology and culture is a challenge because they're so secretive. The little that we do know paints a picture of a society that's both beautiful and dangerous. Giant, powerful alien women who are perfectly adapted to dominate their environment, and during the festival, any visitor they choose. There's so much we don't know about them, and it's maddening. How do they really see us? As curiosities? As playthings? As mates? We're about to step into their world. A place where every gesture, every glance carries meaning. And if the rumors are true, if their tongues really are forked by choice, that suggests a level of sexual expression and intensity on a societal scale that's almost beyond comprehension. It's both fascinating and a little terrifying, don't you think? To willingly alter your body as a declaration of desire, to be willing to go that far just to feel, to experience, to dominate. What kind of culture creates such beings? Sorry, I don't mean to scare you. It's fascinating, isn't it? The idea of a society that only opens itself up for this brief window where the line between curiosity and danger is so thin. They're known for their beauty, their power, but also their unpredictability. You should be careful if you're not prepared. I've heard rumors that some visitors, especially those who catch the eye of an Irisian, never leave the planet. Not because they're kept against their will, but because they don't want to leave. The Irisians are, well, let's just say they can be very persuasive when they want something, and during the astral coupling, they're not shy about what they want. It's not about physical attractions. The Irisian have this presence, this charisma that's almost hypnotic. It's like they can see right through you. They can know exactly what you're thinking, what you desire. It's no wonder so many people get swept up in it. Now listen to me going on and on. I'm here to study them, to document their custom, but, well, it's hard to not get caught up in the excitement. Just remember, while you're there, down on the surface, keep your wits about you. They may be beautiful and alluring, but they're also different and powerful. And if one of them takes an interest in you, well, it might be more than you bargained for. I've had a few encounters with alien species before, but nothing like this. There was one time on a F4A with a Lysarin. If you've never seen one, they're covered in these intricate patterns of bioluminescent scales, and they have these long, flexible, prehensile appendages they use in the most interesting way. Let's just say it was a thorough examination, and I had to redact quite a lot of detail from the published map.
Attention passengers, we are now beginning our descent to Iris 7. Please remain seated and prepare for landing.
Well, here we go, Iris 7. Just think, this week could change everything. For both of us. I'm here to study them, of course, but you, well, you might end up getting caught up in the festival. Well, good luck. I have a feeling you're going to need it.